That was not an important message to pass along in that break.
Kind of was.
No, hold on.
In my world, it was an important message.
Can I tell the full story?
Tell
quickly?
it.
Yes,
quickly.
Nuno?
Go ahead.
Okay.
But thank you for having my back, Nuno. He knows I get distracted easily.
I love how this is my fault somehow. So let me just tell you what happened. The ESPN Radio sports beat that airs in the afternoons, Freddie Coleman does an unbelievable job of doing these.
Shout out to Freddie.
Freddie and Harry, weekdays 3 p to 7 p Eastern. Freddie was off yesterday. Liam, our boss, reaches out to me and he says, hey, Freddie's off these days. Can you record them? I'm like, sure, great opportunity. I'll do it. I'm thrilled to do it. And I am pretty organized with things. Okay, so as soon as I get the email or the note, I send a calendar invite to Nuno because he and I are the ones really organizing the recordings. So we're talking about the fact that I didn't know I was supposed to do it yesterday. It's on me. I screwed up, whatever it is. I owned it. And I said I had to record a bunch of things over at ESPN New York, and I felt bad because I had to kick Mike Brownshire, the great production guy, out of the studio, whatever. And I said, oh, by the way, I had to pass along a message from Michael K to Smalls because Michael felt badly that 2 nights ago he was going to bring Smalls up to the booth because she was at the Yankee game, and then the passes got all screwed up, and he wanted to apologize to you for that.
Yes.
And I wanted to pass along the message. And this was 4 seconds before we came back on the air. And then she said, well, I would have liked to have come up to see the booth, but maybe at another time. And then she was supposed to talk, and she was telling me about the Michael K situation. But I don't know why that's my fault.
That's entirely. You just said you were talking to her 4 seconds, telling her an in-depth story. You just told that story in about a minute and a half. It took like 5 minutes when you were telling it in the break.
You guys have said I go a little long on things. So.
And obviously, I love Michael K. I think he's so excellent as a broadcaster and as a person. I would have very much enjoyed going to the booth. What a treat that would have been.
Well, don't blame him, though. That's what he's saying.
I'm not blaming him.
It's not his fault. Someone else took the pass.
We were with a big group.
Yeah.
I have been lucky enough in my life to be in a broadcast booth before at a baseball stadium. Some of the people we were with don't often get afforded that opportunity, so I wanted to defer to them and give them the experience.
But he felt like you may have felt like he squeezed you out of there.
No, not at all.
Okay.
But here's the problem now. When you tell Michael that Smalls was fine, like
I did tell Michael
no big deal, like she enjoyed her time anyway, blah blah blah. Now he looks that as a slight at him,
right?
Because
Michael you're saying if she had an A time or an A plus time, it's an A plus time minus Michael.
Correct.
No,
it should have been an A, and then the plus would have been Michael.
I couldn't have an A plus time. With Michael K.
You can't really get that as a grade. It's either A or A plus.
One time when I was studying abroad in Italy, we took a photography class, and my best friend Jackie, the professor, I believe his name was Mauro, gave her an A+++, because she had a very good photograph of trash. That he just thought it was amazing. He was like,
photograph of trash.
He was like, the trash is beauty is trash, and she was like, exactly.
I'm sure that your Italian photography class really went a long way.
Yeah, well, she said to him at the end of the semester, she goes, you have to change this. The University of Illinois is not going to think this is a real grade.
On that note, speaking of trash, we'll get to our hot mess in about 10 minutes. The trashiest teams over the last week in sports. Our buddy Jay Williams, ESPN basketball.
Speaking of trash, the Philadelphia 76ers.
Well, you just did it when I set it up with Jay Williams, and then you said speaking of trash. That could have come off horribly.
Well, I didn't say speaking of trash,
Pat.
Jay Williams.
That was Pat who said that, Jay. A guy who's been at your house
That's
at
right.
a party with gazillionaire CEO types that Pat did not realize he was with.
Had a good time at that party.
Unbelievable.
It's a great time.
Anyway. Jay Will, our guy, we love Jay Will. He, ESPN basketball analyst, he was on First Take yesterday and had this to say about Pat's team and Cam's team, the 76ers, and who they cannot win a title with.
I just don't know if I believe at this stage of his career you can win a championship with Joel Embiid. I know he can give you bucket after bucket. I know some people can be frustrating at flopping and get to the free throw line. And I got into an argument with Wendy about hiding best players because you can make that case a little bit about Jalen Brunson. But I'm just telling you, S.A. and Cam, from watching schemes and NBA coaches and college coaches, you can hide guards with the amount of times they get rotated and how you can switch off of it. You can't hide bigs. Not when you play a faster style of basketball, when that big is centered in every pick and roll. And also with his feet, with the way he moves, look how the Knicks passed the ball around the perimeter last night. That thing moved with fervor. It had pace, because the more pace it had, the more you made Joel Embiid have to recover. So this is death by 1,000 cuts because by the time you get to the end of a game, he's dead tired, y'all. That's why you saw Jalen Brunson attack it over and over and over and over. And I just don't know if you can win with having such an Achilles heel like that on the court.
So good from Jay Will. I don't believe the 76ers can win a title with Joel Embiid. I believe a team could win a title with Joel Embiid.
Why not them?
Well, I just believe that the process went too far. I believe he doesn't understand the culture of winning. I didn't choose that word for a specific reason. I'm just saying a culture of winning. Mm-hmm. And I believe that, Courtney, you could put Joel Embiid on another team with a different franchise that treats him differently than Philly does, and he can win a championship. I don't think this partnership will get him there.
Can you give any benefit of the doubt to the fact that they had just played a grueling Game 7 against the Celtics?
But I don't think
to think that it won't be as bad.
The one game, though.
But do you think if he goes to another organization, all of a sudden his health is going to change?
Yeah.
That you're going to consistently see a healthy Joel Embiid? That the vulnerabilities in his game that Jay Will just outlined aren't going to be there?
Yes, I do. No,
They're not going to wear him down?
Basketball health. I'm not appendectomy, obviously.
Right.
I'm talking about basketball health.
Him coming back when he did and playing excellent. He's gutted it through a lot in his career. I'm just saying when it comes to Joel Embiid, we expect he's going to miss time because, unfortunately, he gets injured. So I don't know if another organization can change that, especially as he ages.
I just don't like the conversation of how it became, wow, Joel Embiid has changed the complexion of the Celtics 76ers series when he returned. In those 3 games, he was excellent, to he has a bad game in Game 1. Like it felt like his feet were too big for his body, if that makes sense. He was, moving, he was lumbering across the court. I don't know if that's a byproduct of fatigue, of health, of what it was, but you can't make 3 field goals and have the same stat line effectively as Tyler Kolek and be on a team that's going to win a game when they expect you as the leader of this team, as I guess you want to say like the pulse of this team in a lot of ways. Tyrese Maxey is the star of this team, but Joel Embiid is the heartbeat. You can't have that happen. I would like to chalk it up to that was just Game 1. We're not going to see the same Joel Embiid in Game 2, but to Jay Will's point, there's a history factor here that we cannot ignore of somebody who's never gotten beyond the conference semifinals in his career. I'd like to see that change. I don't want to write him off. I want to believe that Philly can get to the Eastern Conference Finals with him because they've never been there with him before. But I don't think that you can make a rash judgment like that after Game 1 because I don't think it's going to hold up tonight when they play.
Yes, I agree with you in terms of the one game. I don't think Jay's doing that for the one game. I think Jay's talking about the totality of the partnership between Embiid and the Sixers, how I'm taking it, and saying he does not envision that partnership to work. It doesn't seem like the 76ers give him tough love ever. Like, you can't do this. You need to be that. Like, that's just not the nature of this partnership. I've been saying for years, I think it's in the best interest of all parties to separate at some point. Obviously, today wouldn't be that point, as Game 2 is tonight.